Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. What we are discussing right now is how do we increase the retail program and the offline part of the shopping at various shopping centers. We're going to try and do this in two parts, as we just had an excellent session on cinema. We are going to start off with the first question on this. Sunil, so how have you tied up with let's say cinema operators where you all do some kind of a promotion or other activities where you bring in footfalls towards your centers, and how do you engage your customers so that it works vice versa with the cinema operators as well as they go down, have a shopping experience or an F&B experience at your center?
Yeah, so specific to cinema, Anand, there's limited things that you can do. It's not that you can do too much because it is purely based on content. But still, there are some things that you do as events which ensure that your cinema customer comes back and says, if I have an experience, let me go here. So an example I want to give you is, we have cinemas everywhere. My mall has 7,500 capacity in and around. But still my cinema does best. Why? So it is not that you do specifically for cinema or event because it's based on content. So we do cinema nights for kids, which gives them stickiness and says, when I come to the mall, there's a movie, we screen the movie and ask the cinema partner, why don't you put up a stall there and do something? There's some of our F&B guys who say, present your cinema ticket and you'll get a discount and all. So I'm saying these are ways and means of doing activities. What do you do in and around entertainment? Because cinema, I think, is a part of entertainment and you cannot separate cinema and say cinema is separate, entertainment is separate. It's an overall package. So we do events specific which bring in consumers and they say, as an entertainment, this is the destination I want to go into and cinema is an extension of that. And I think this is the place where I want to see cinema, have F&B, and probably after that have my marketing events where I can have an experience. So I think that's how we look at it as a whole offering overall.
Siddhartha, if you can.
So with regards to cinemas, even if in case that we look at a little bit of an out-of-box thinking rather than depending on the content only in terms of what the movies are making and what they're coming out with. Post-COVID, what we tried to do was to partner with our cinema partners and we actually did beauty masterclasses in the auditorium. And in doing so, what happened was that the mall sort of got a certain number of footfall back again, while as the social distancing was still on. However, cinemas were operational, so you needed to keep that one seat empty in between, etc. So at that point of time itself, we started these kind of activations in the cinema halls after speaking to our partners. And they were very happy about it. Because at the end of the day, what would also happen is that the concessionaire would make money and they would rent out the auditorium as a whole to one consolidator while earning a certain amount of revenue. So rather than going empty with no content, you would suddenly see 50% occupancy for that particular theater. So that's something that boosted the occupancy of the property itself. Spin-offs, obviously, food and beverage, retail, cinema itself, getting a certain bit of amount, concessionaire sale. So it works. It works in that sense part of it.
Perfect. Thanks, Siddhartha. If I can just move to Shantanu. Shantanu, the World Cup is around the corner. So are you all, making the viewers or customers, have you tied up with the cinema guys, Inox, or, as Inox is one of your projects? Or are you all planning just to pull in crowd, right? How are you going to get your customers going? Are you all screening the World Cup at your center? Or how are you looking at doing more of that entertainment?
Right. No, sure. So I think some of these big events, give us the opportunity to activate, I would say, auditorium spaces, right? And I think we do a lot of misrepresentation, if I may use the word. It's a very big word and slightly in a negative sense that I'm using, by calling a cinema hall just a cinema hall, because it just restricts itself to the word cinema. And I think there are multiple use cases of the auditorium that can be done, and World Cups or some of these events are one of them. We did something in the past, and we will continue to do that. Of course, there are licensing issues which I think needs to be resolved. But I think what is also important, alluding to the question that you had asked before, is that pure content-driven entertainment is no longer, going to be very viable unless and until that content is supported by a social experience. And unless and until you get the social experience into this entertainment, I think you will not be successful. That's why we see, F&B being very successful, because it's got an element of entertainment and social going together. And that's why, I would say that today F&B is a bigger pull into any shopping center than possibly what a cinema is today, or cinema was, pre-COVID. So I think it is important that when we reimagine these spaces, we look at the social angle, we look at the tie-ups, the activations, and we just reinvent the auditorium itself into meaning much more than just the cinema.
Thanks, Shantanu. If I can just continue with you. So when you talk about social space, what else are you doing at your centers?
So, we've been hearing multiplex since, I don't know, last all panels or all various other forums. Looks like there is a different agenda, which I think the multiplex operator wants developer to understand or to accept. Anyways, so we have started living, or maybe accepted, that without a multiplex, a mall is much more viable. And COVID has shown it, especially post-COVID, especially the last 2 years, where the multiplex operators itself were struggling to get good content and good footfalls and various things. The mall itself has developed, and it has shown that if you have various other content, like if you have various other avenues for the entertainment, as what rightly said, F&B is the biggest puller as compared to a multiplex today. And if you combine that with an entertainment, or you create something which gives you that pull, that you again become a destination center than just being a neighborhood mall, it really pulls a lot amount of things. Especially like to create, an FEC destination with a combination of a good mixture and combination, or as a destination for food, it really pulls a lot of things.
Perfect. Surjit, if we can continue with you. Surjit, if we can continue with you. So do you, at Amanora, you all believed you all brings in celebrities to enhance footfalls? What are the effects of, those kind of things? Do you bring in and where you add value? Because many of the brands, and, obviously at cinema premieres as well, they bring in various stars during that. And does that lead to the crowd that comes in? Does that lead to more shopping at your centers? How does that play out?
I'm actually the wrong guy for this. So but answer your question. So cinema here again with us has never supported us in terms of any celebrity visit or anything. But yes, we do a lot of events, and a particular target audience which we are looking forward. So we do events particularly for that particular target audience, and we have tied up with big event companies which do these specialist IPs, which is a regular feature. So we take that as an opportunity to showcase. This mall is an existing mall from last 10 years, and we have done some redevelopment. And a lot of people do have their own perception that what happened to this mall. So this gives us that platform to showcase that, boss, what are the newness, what we've added, especially the new food court, the new the FEC center which we have ordered, a new brewery. So that gives an opportunity for us to ensure that they come and they see, and especially the younger population which we are targeting, when they see, they carry on with it. So it makes, yes, it does get our target audience.
Thanks, Surjit. If we can move to Siddhartha, please. Siddhartha, your views towards the same, what different things, and how, how do you address it differently if it does not do the justification of getting in footfalls? How do you address this on the celebrity part, and the guests coming, and how do you increase that footfall, and how do you change that into business? Because there might be footfall to see that particular event or the particular star.
So it's two sides of the coin, so to say. Meaning, on one hand, yes, you do get more footfall. On the other hand, it is also at times that the serious shopper is quite inconvenienced at times. So this being said, yes, you do get new faces into the property. Your loyals are obviously coming back to your properties, or for that matter, any other spaces that you have these stars visiting. It brings in with itself a lot of organizational challenges in terms of space and the movement of the star, etc., etc. During which time the entire decorum of the mall sort of goes a little topsy-turvy, so to say, for the common customer or the common our actual, so to say, celebrities who come and shop. Those are the guys that we want, right? So it's in both ways. So if you're wanting to sort of limit it to a certain area, say so to say the multiplex itself, inside in a confined space, it does work. It does work from a point of view to say that a particular celebrity is coming to a property. It does pull in more crowd to that particular cinema during that screening or a couple of screenings here and there kinds. Does it translate back into sales for the retail and or dining out experiences? Our IT systems that we have installed in a couple of malls as a pilot beacons do indicate that it does. It does in terms of, I'm talking about general cinema itself. So the spin-off from cinemas does not just remain with cinemas, you watch the movie and then you go away. It sort of culminates into a whole experience, right? You're dining out, you're shopping, you're entertaining yourself with the cinema, you're taking the kid around and stuff like that. So it's a holistic experience that one sort of looks at. And the cross-pollination that we have seen because of these beacons of people who go into cinemas and then visit a few other stores, it helps. It definitely, cinemas do help for sure. How does a star add value on a particular day? It's both ways.
Sure, understand. Sunil, just wanted to understand for entertainment part, like many of the centers are calling or having programs where they call in different artists to come and perform, to let it be a rock group or let it be a dancer or well-known artist, right? And the tickets are sold at premium prices in malls, so it definitely gathers, and there is. I'm guessing there would be some sale, a lot of sale towards F&B during those times. But how does it interact to shopping at the centers? Or it's okay as a mall developer to understand, yes, our F&B is making a lot of money, but during those days, the shopping gets a little hit. How does that happen? If you can just let us all how that works.
So in terms of these concerts and getting the big stars, my view is you should do it only if you've got a space which is within the mall separately. If you have something within the mall and you do it inside, it definitely impacts shopping to a large extent. But there are many malls which now are building the infrastructure. So if you got the infrastructure, these type of events, if it's a separate area which is not within your shopping complex but next to the F&B, helps in F&B sales, definitely it helps. But again, caveat is don't do it inside. If you've got a separate courtyard or an area, it helps rub on the F&B, and you have a separate area for shopping. So you need to have that. If you don't have that, then you should not do concerts within your properties. Then it impacts.
Okay, strong view on that. So Shantanu, if I can ask a similar question on what are the steps, right? When you do this, there are cinema, there are other entertainment hubs. Where do you see the customers going, and how the shopping works? For example, when you're in a theater, it's 2.5, 3 hours. Most of the customers are watching the movie and coming out, and probably there is a sale in F&B. Compared to that, on different entertainment, like if people are going to a Fun City or a Time Zone or Bounce, right? And how does that plan out or pan out for your customers? How much time do they spend? And after that, do you see those kind of footfalls, customers spending more time in your malls than while they're just coming in for a movie and then going out? How does that work?
Sure. So, the distinction that I like to make here is the fact that, whether you're asking this question for a neighborhood shopping center or were you asking this question for a destination mall, right? And the answers will be very different. We believe that whatever we own and operate are are not like large-scale city-level destinations. They are more catering to the immediate neighborhoods and slightly beyond that. Now, when you do something of that sort, if the star power of that particular event is very strong, it on that particular day gets a lot more footfall, which may or may not translate into the sales because the stickiness is not there. And on the contrary, it may also inconvenience your regular customers. And I can completely agree. If you do not have the infrastructure, do not do these things. It works very, very beautifully for. It's a retail destination, but not really a mall per se. It works very beautifully for Eco World, right? The day we do a very big event in Eco World, everything there is full, right? The dwelling time just increases manifold, and we get a rub-off of that. Now, if you want to do something like that in a mall environment, if you do not have an infrastructure, it will definitely create the nuisance value. What one can do, and this is something that we had tried once, is that when the Spider-Man, the movie came along, we took the city level, franchise of doing a Spider-Man kind of experience center, right? And that really drove a lot of footfalls into the mall, which translated into sales in every category, right? Not just in F&B, but in every category. Of course, it was also the season time and everything else. So, there's a natural propensity for people to shop. But we generally felt just by doing that event, we got a lot more bang for the buck than we would otherwise got. So I think it's different for different cases. Large scale malls will have the infrastructure or should create the infrastructure, and they will obviously get for it. The smaller scale malls may not have the infrastructure, and then for them they'll have to really think through of what the size, scale, and the concept of the event needs to be to really make it meaningful for the mall.
Sorry, Anand, I just wanted to add. So even if you get a celebrity, I think based on the positioning of your mall, very important to understand which celebrity do you want to get. Just having a celebrity does not help. You may not get the right target audience. And I think getting people is not the role only of a celebrity. I think the mall is a celebrity in itself, and what are the events that we do around it to get people throughout the year. The celebrity will just add value to that. It's not the thing, but it's one of the thing. The celebrity has to be the mall. No other celebrity can come and say, I'm the celebrity. If I don't keep my mall as a celebrity, nobody else is a celebrity. That's how we would want to treat it.
Noted, Sunil. Siddhartha, going to you for a second. You would agree on the social infrastructure of what Shantanu said compared to a regular shopping center, and as he gave an example of how Eco World is for him and how it works differently. It might work differently. And as for you, you have similar portfolios. Would it work like that as well?
Yes. So while we're talking about having social spaces as such, and
Sure.
the social spaces definitely do work. And where we're talking about an office linked, similar like an Eco World or otherwise, and I saw it for the first time yesterday, absolutely beautifully made. I think similar kind of eco structures do definitely work if in case that there is a lot of planning that goes into the development of the entire area, how to do, what to do, then obviously programming of that space, it does work. I'll give an example of the Cyber Hub. The Cyber Hub in Gurgaon has those amphitheater step seating. It has the screen. We do the Friday Jam, which is an activity that has been continuing now for the 10th year this year. It began as a collaborative band music experience with the office tenants, etc. So that's where the entire social aspect part of it comes in together. It's all about people getting together. It's all about having screenings of matches together. It's all about creating an ecosphere where things are possible, and not trying to plug a square shape into a round hole kind of thing. That won't work, actually.
Sure, understand. Surjit, coming to you, there are a lot of changes as we were talking, in our meeting room inside. There are a lot of changes as Amanora you all are bringing in to, how do we address it? To have a steady footfall at your centers, right? If you want to elaborate what different steps you all are taking, how is the mixed-use development adds to the social infrastructure of the center for Amanora?
See, our center is has lived two phases of it. So it's like a total redevelopment. Actually, when this mall was planned, the catchment itself was a very different type of a catchment. And the catchment has drastically evolved, which has most probably happened with every single shopping centers. In that same thing, to recreate a couple of things, like we were lucky that we had an option to create a stage arena which had performance arena, which is an empty plot next to our mall, which definitely helps us. And in a center of atrium also, not in the center of atrium, but we have two blocks. So between the blocks, we have created a permanent stage. We have tied up with Sunburn as so when they do a property in Pune, the first right of refusal comes to us. So an artist, that particular area can take around 4,000 of people. So we do there, and because our F&B section all are on the ground and first level, which opens into that arena, it definitely works very well when you have an artist performing. Plus, it does give us, for that particular, as I said, we categorically have tied up with Sunbar only. So it does give us that destination tag, especially for these artists. When they do bigger events, as we are a part of a special township, we do have a lot of big plots which are there. So there again, we do encourage on those type of artists also. Along with that, yes, what we've really understood that, for us, the F&B has been much better performing as compared to any other thing. Yes, apparel and a mix of others is doing it. But F&B is one of the things, considering because we are a part of township, the demographics of the catchment is totally very different. So in that, yes, F&B has been there. So our new developments are all merely around this. Plus, we do have, opened up a co-working center in a 3 lakh square feet of a co-working center, which definitely pushes more back to the F&B sales. And yes, we do have changed the entire layout of our mall, which we had some design issues which were there. So during the COVID time, we did change a lot of things. So reposition the mall, get a new tenant mix, which definitely matches to my catchment. But we are more towards the F&B side, and like a brewery, which is one of the biggest brewery in Pune, which will open soon. So those type of elements, like Hard Rock, again, gets me that destination tag. Then one more of furniture big store, which is coming. Again, it gets me a destination tag. So currently in this phase, for me, more important, because neighborhood is very strong, but I need to push a little bit of more on a destination side so that, new people come and have a look at the mall. That's the more challenge.
Before I come to you, Siddhartha, excellent point. So question now, Siddhartha, whatever you're going to say, and follow-up question. Do we look at it as a destination point? Is there a recall value to your centers, right? Even if a sale may not happen whenever you're doing this, the social event.
So yes, meaning even if in case that the entire thing does not translate into a sale today, yes, it does create a bit of a goodwill for the property for sure. Like Sir mentioned, in terms of the star is supposed to be the property itself, and while doing so, if in case that you're doing a session, for example, we do something called Active Noida in Gurgaon. It starts at 7 o'clock in the morning, meaning obviously your retail partners are not open at that point of time, but then it does flow back into the property itself. It creates goodwill. It talks about how the properties that we are creating together is giving back to the community as well. So it does not just, it's not all for internal consumption. It is also about the community. So while we're talking about social spaces and while we're talking about developing communities, we are actually targeting different communities. You're talking about fitness, you're talking about art, you're talking about culture, you're talking about music separate. So it's not a stereotype rock show that will probably entertain everyone. So it's spread across.
Thanks for that. Shantanu, coming to you, how do you see digital transformation affecting the consumer behavior towards offline shopping? How do you see that happening? How are you addressing that shift?
Sure. So one, of course, is that in the world that which we are in, I think if a primal need is shopping, right, there are more avenues than shopping centers to fulfill that need. So what hence the shopping center or any retail destination needs to become is more than fulfilling the need of the primal shopping, right? And I see as a result of this, the entire mix, retail mix in any shopping center is going to go with the change, right? I think hypermarkets are going to become smaller and smaller. Right? I feel because that is gets fulfilled very easily digitally outside, right? I also feel the F&B quotient is going to become more and more different varieties and concepts of F&B will come in. F&B and entertainment are likely to get fused at very, so I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow a cinema player kind of very purposefully redefines themselves that we are no longer just a cinema player, we are a full-scale entertainment and a social experience, right? And I think that's where we are going, we're going towards. But what I also feel is that in order to get footfalls into your mall, right, or in a shopping center, today digitally you are much more capable of reaching out to people and engaging with them in a manner where they recall the brand of the shopping center much more. And that's, I think, is very important for any shopping center owner to kind of do today, right? Using the digital medium to interact with the people and get them, back, into the physical realm whenever that's required. So I believe that the process of shopping or the process of thing doesn't start when they set their foot inside the mall. It starts maybe a week before that, right? And that's when, if you capture their mind space, and that can be done through the digital medium, that's where you will be able to be successful. And the size of the mall may not matter in that sense. It's your engagement, the timing of the engagement, and the strength of the engagement that will matter.
Sunil, your views?
Yeah, so I agree. See, if you say online, I think I look at it positively. I think because of online, people have experimented and they are more open to experiment, and their acceptance of brands has gone high. So when they come to a mall, if I just keep it as a shopping center, they may not like it. So what is the experience that I give to them, because they are ready to experiment now, is what makes them come back. And that is where you define, like I agree with Shantanu, you make an event, but how do you communicate it? How do you make it exciting digitally for them to understand that this is what I will get out of it, is what will make them come back and say, yes, this is where I need to go. So offline and online will coexist. I don't think anybody's going, but I think the experience that you get in a mall, which people are looking out for, is important, and the more experience and marketing events you create to enhance that experience is what will make your mall tick.
Okay, so just last couple of questions. One of the questions is, what different, Surjit, if we can start with you, what different are you doing as the consumer base is changing? How are you addressing the newer consumers, the Gen Z and the X? How are you addressing? What different steps are you taking so that they come? Do you have them coming to the malls repeatedly? There could be for social cause, it could be for F&B, or what kind of retailers are you saying? What kind of activities are you doing at your centers to make sure that they keep coming and shopping with you?
The first most important thing is to get the brands which they associate with. In our case, at least, because we have to churn a lot of old brands to get that brand. Second, the most important thing is to make those comfort zones. It could be just a hangout zone, or maybe, if nothing more, you can just give them a space where they can put their Insta stories or all those type of platforms, avenues. that is one of the other things which is there. And second,
Is there any promotion that you're doing with such events which leads to that?
Yeah,
If
yeah,
they
yeah.
can put up, there are
yeah, we do have a lot of
awards
contests
or
for it,
discounts.
a lot of these tapes. Like if you hang out with your friends, if you put a story, a lot of other type of, where we, initially give them a lot of offers. They're there. Then yes, we do, because Pune is again a little on college, heavy on the college, and a lot of outstation students are there. So, we definitely reach out to them. All these freshers day type of things, we are the first guys to approach to any universities and colleges. We'll give you the platform. We'll give you some support in the form of a band or in terms of this. Let them come and experience this mall. They're coming new to the city. Let them experience. Maybe this could be their hanging out zone. And that's how it has come down. We see a lot of people and, they make a lot of stories. I've seen a lot of people who've graduated from these colleges and they've got their jobs also. And when you see them again back into the mall, it's a different thing.
Sure, very interesting. Shantanu, moving to you, same question, please.
Yeah, so I think it's important to realize what the so-called new in generation kind of is looking for. I think they are looking for instant self-actualization, right? It's a very potent combination. One, so this instant, and secondly, it's also self-actualization. So what we have tried to do is we have tried to pick up causes and try to be associated with it, right? Because we are primarily an office, platform, right? Sustainability is very high on the agenda. So we use that sustainability agenda inside the malls, right? In the way we decorated for Christmas. And the idea was everything that goes into decoration will be recycled, and everything that gets recycled will be recycled into something which will be sold back into the mall, and you can be a participant in that. So I think that brought a connect. Secondly, we connected with physically challenged people, right, and try to kind of promote their art, their enterprise inside our shopping centers, and we communicated it accordingly to the larger people, and that got a lot of connection, going. Then we did something which is very focused on the personal needs, like health, for example. So we did something related to cycling, right? We also engage with the pet lovers or people who are generally more aware about animal rights, and try to work with them. So the idea is to pick these causes, identify that with the respective people within that generation who identify this, and then run the promotions and engagements with them. Get the brands to kind of collaborate in the entire thing. It has to be like a 360-degree story. It can't just be one small event and we get people and it just dissipates. It has to be a completely 360-degree story to make it meaningful for them to first connect, then fulfill their self-actualization. That translates into them having more dwell time, and then translate into sales. So it has to be kind of thought through in that fashion.
Sure, thanks, Shantanu. Sunil, your views?
Yeah. So 2-3 things that we do. One is, while there are many fillers things that you do a social connect. You connect with consumers on small events and bring them daily. But we said there are some large-scale events which make a perception and which give an experience which we should do. 2 of them I can probably talk about. One is, we said after COVID went, kids have not gone out. What do they do? So on a 5,000 square feet, we said we'll do Fun League. I don't know if people remember, used to have those tele matches and all. We said, just come out, enjoy. And we saw that people just came in hordes because they had not been out. And that's an event that you say, what is the need of the hour? In Christmas, we said we do a Christmas tree every year. People come, click selfies and go back. What can you do different? We made a big ship, a 40-feet ship, and we said, let everybody go on the deck, click photographs. It becomes a different selfie point. So while we look at this large-scale events and we ensure that we have Instagrammable decor throughout the mall where people can click photos and tag. That is what we understand. People come to a mall which is Instagrammable worthy. And we try to create small spaces and nooks and corners and a large scale where they say, if I have to be seen on Instagram, we understand they want to be on social media. Why should they come to the mall, and how do they communicate to the people outside? So those are the things that I think we do. Small events we keep on doing, and build based on, we have to innovate. So hopefully this year we'll do again something different. In Diwali, why just do a diya? Let's do something different. So that's our thought. We have to be ahead of the market. Don't have the space to do concerts every month. So how do you innovate and what do you do?
Thanks for that.
Thank you. So in terms of sustainability, you're talking about LEED Platinum, you're talking about zero waste, you're talking about 100% water recycling, etc. is something that the DLF as a whole has embarked on a journey many, many years ago. And in fact, we are getting the malls also added into that entire portfolio very fast, quick kind of thing. So we're talking about that obviously to the Gen Z and reaching out to them on digital platforms, etc. Other than that, we're also looking at communities. So we, for the second year this year, did a LGBTQ event and we celebrated the entire Pride Month at DLF Promenade. And extremely well appreciated event. The community came down, set up entire stalls, was there for the entire month. We also displayed the Pride flag on our masthead. So we went all the way there. So it's something that's, like I said earlier as well, talking about walking together with the community, and if in case that it's acceptable to everybody around, then yes, I think we need to walk together.
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen. Just one last question, and now, one word answer. It's not too long back that, we were all under COVID and there were no footfalls in our malls, and the malls were shut for various reasons, right? How happy are we, though we are discussing digital age and how everything is changing, what kind of entertainment we are doing, how happy are we that the malls are seeing the best of footfalls, the retailers are seeing the best of sales in the last 1 year or so? In one word, or a couple of words, how happy are you all on how your centers are doing? Sunil, starts with you.
If I were to say in one word, this is the best time to be in retail.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks, Shantanu. Please.
Happy till the concerns don't come back, because retail is also very cyclical.
Surjit, before your flight.
Very happy. Yes, things are back. So yes.
Thank you so much.
So it's a joyous occasion for everyone, retailers, developers, mall owners, and obviously the customers as well. So, yeah, very.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for an exciting session. Really appreciate you all giving your inputs, and wish you all the very best. Thank you.